Hey guys, or welcome back to my channel. Okay, let me sing my welcome song. Hey people, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Esther. You're welcome to my channel. Welcome to my channel. It's good to have you again. How are you? How are you holding on? How's 2020 treating you? Okay, so last week I made a poll on my IG story and I asked what you would like to see next on my channel, and most of the answers I got were for me to do a sit down or chit chat videos. So here goes, and I'm so excited about the story I'm about to share with you. You already saw the title already, so let's just dive right into it. October 2015, I got pregnant, and like every other person, I was excited, I was happy about it. And then, so after some weeks, I needed to visit the hospital for a scan. So, and we didn't know any, we've not, I mean, my husband and I, we've never visited any hospital before then, so we didn't know which one to go. But my husband had a student who is a doctor. He's an elderly man. He has his private hospital, and my husband told him about it and invited me over, told me to come to his hospital. So we went there together, and he did the scan, and we were expecting to hear, this is your baby, this is that. But to our dismay, he told me you have fibroids. And it didn't end there. No fetal heartbeat, no heartbeat at all. He saw the sac, he showed me the sac on the screen, no heartbeat. And then he went on to say that he was going to do an abortion. That was his words. Those were his words. Abortion. Like he was going to remove the sac, everything that represented the baby. I was like, whoa. It escalated quickly, from fibroid. That's a shock on its own. From fibroid to no heartbeat, then to abortion. Like nothing at all. And I started to ask me questions. Did my mom have fibroid? Does anyone in my family line? Do I know anyone in my family who had fibroid? I was like, no, I've never heard of this anywhere in my family or people known to me. I've only heard about it, I know what fibroid is, but it has never happened to someone close to me, and it was a shock. All the symptoms that someone with fibroid will usually have, I never had them, I never experienced them. So it was a shock to me. Like, what do you mean fibroid? I was like, then he said the baby was not breathing, there was no heartbeat, only the sac, no heartbeat. He was going to do an abortion. That means he was going to evacuate, remove everything. I was like, whoa. It was devastating, guys. It was really, really devastating. My husband didn't accept that result. He just went home. We're not happy, obviously, but we just went home and I said, okay, let's pray. Let's just pray that God can turn it around, that we shouldn't accept that result. So I was not happy. I was dismayed. I was devastated. Yeah, but we began to pray, and then I can't remember when. Maybe some weeks after then, but I could remember that it was in December. It was 1 week before Christmas. I started to bleed. It started on a Monday, and it was a full bleeding. I mean, like as if I was on a period. So I started to bleed. I bled Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I kept bleeding. I told my husband, and my husband asked, is everything okay? Are you sure everything is right? Shouldn't we visit the hospital? And I said, I was so naive. I said it was normal. I'd read that, it's normal to have a bit of bleeding, while pregnant. But I thought this was just normal. How naive I was. I went on about my normal duty. I was going to work. I was doing, all the activities required of me at work. I didn't have any pains. I was just bleeding. So I thought it was just something that was going to stop on its own. But then it didn't stop. So on Saturday, that weekend, my husband had to, take me to the hospital. We went to the hospital, and when I was checked, another hospital, by the way, we didn't visit that previous one, we went to another hospital, and the doctors checked and said I had miscarried the baby. I've been watching movies, Nollywood movies, and all I see about miscarriage is the woman just experiencing one sharp pain and then starts to bleed, and then there's a miscarriage. So what I saw, what I had in my head about miscarriage was different from what I was experiencing. The doctor told me that I was miscarrying all through the time I was bleeding, and by the time I went to the hospital, the baby was already flushed out. Another shock, another devastation. He gave me some drugs, we went away, we left. I cried. My husband consoled me and all that. He asked if I was going to go home or we'll go on to church for rehearsals, but I decided that okay, I'll go for rehearsals. So I had to, put myself together, so I won't keep answering everyone's questions. But so I went to rehearsals. I remember breaking down even in the midst of rehearsals, but I was able to hide it. I went somewhere I spoke to one or two people who also comforted and encouraged me. Okay, so we were advised that we should not try for another baby yet. We should give it some months. So we waited. I had my normal period the next month. We waited 1-2 months and all that. So we decided, okay, let's try again. Actually, the first doctor that I went to told me that it was a miracle that I conceived in the first place. That with the presence of the fibroid, I shouldn't have been able to conceive at all. But we didn't believe that. So we tried again. I got pregnant. I did the test and it was positive. I was so happy. But then I was anxious to check. Then my husband, because of that first experience, my husband said, okay, let's wait this time. Let's just wait. Let's just keep praying that this time the baby is going to, is going to stay. So we didn't visit the hospital for, all through the first trimester. I felt like I was pregnant. I knew that I was pregnant, but we didn't visit the hospital. I kept taking my vitamins. So after my first trimester, I had to tell my husband, I can't wait anymore. I have to visit the hospital. Okay, so he said, fine. I went on my own to the hospital. So I went to the hospital. I got an appointment with the doctor. The doctor's an elderly man. He only spoke Turkish. He couldn't speak English, so it was a bit difficult to communicate. But I found my way around it. And then again, he checked, he did a scan, and he told me about fibroids again. He told me fibroids, and I was okay. I said, okay, fine. I know there's fibroid, but help me, please check. I have a baby. I'm pregnant. Please check my baby. Is my baby fine? I said, no. He just kept talking about the fibroid. He kept stressing fibroid, and he said I had an infection that. It was important for me to treat that infection immediately. I said, please check, there is a baby there. He said, no. He just ignored that part. He just went on to talk about fibroid, and the infection. I was shattered the second time. I was shattered again. I took prescription. I took the drugs, antibiotics, and I had to be consoled all over again. My husband and I, we just kept praying. We kept praying. So I think a few weeks after, I just got restless. Meanwhile, I lost my job in January. The first miscarriage happened in December 2015. January 2016, I left my job. I lost it, and so I decided not to try to get another full-time job. I was doing just part-time jobs. Okay, so after some days or few weeks, I can't remember which, I told my husband, I'm going to check again. I just have to put this to rest. I just have to know what is going on. I have to visit another hospital to check my baby. I was so desperate to see my baby. Okay, so he told me, fine, go ahead. So I went to another hospital, a private one this time. I booked an appointment and I saw another doctor. Fortunately, this doctor speaks English. So he did a scan, and to my joy, he told me to check the screen, and I saw my baby. I saw the wiggly hands and feet, and I was so excited. You know, I was so happy to see my baby for the first time. You know, someone who had visited 2 doctors prior to that time and gotten negative results, for the first time getting a positive result. I mean, it was so much joy for me. I was so excited. I could remember telling someone that day that I was the happiest woman on earth. And the doctor said, okay, my baby, he told me it's a boy. Told him positive things about the baby, and then he didn't even see the fibroid then. So I had to ask him, please check, is there any fibroid there? Can you see any fibroid? So he had to check again before he saw the fibroid. I mean, there was something positive that it wasn't the first thing he saw, unlike the previous scan that I did. So I saw the fibroids and he told me, okay, yes, there's a big one and 2 smaller ones, but he said it's not a problem. I mean, they were not in the way of my baby, so everything is perfect, everything is fine. Then he said the fibroid could grow, it might grow, it might not grow, but whether it grows or not, there is not going to be a problem. And but my tummy could be bigger, you know, could be bigger. He said jokingly that I'm carrying twins, you know, but I mean, I was fine. I didn't care about the fibroids. My priority was the baby. As long as the baby was fine, I really didn't care about the fibroids. I just wanted to have a healthy baby. That was my concern. And I left that hospital that day very happy woman. You know, I went on to carry my baby. You know, that same during that pregnancy, you know, during the second trimester, I went to Dubai with my husband. You know, the previous year I won a singing competition, and the prize was a trip to Dubai. So while I was pregnant, I traveled to Dubai with my husband. You know, there was no stress, there was no problem. I even pulled a stunt at the beach. You know. I mean, just to stress that the pregnancy was without risk, there was no problem, it went normally, it was peaceful, and I'm grateful to God for that. And so when it was my 3rd trimester and my EDD was drawing near, okay, all through for the antenatal periods, I didn't use that private hospital. I switched to government hospital, you know, because we didn't have to pay anything because we had a health insurance. Okay, so my husband, another student of my husband, is also a doctor. He works at a university teaching hospital. So he told my husband that I could come to use that hospital. So every time I had another appointment, we first went to the doctor's office. So he took us by himself to the gynecology department, and he did every translation. He made everything easy for us. At a point, we met his family. You know, we went to his house, we met his family, and he was friendly. He was learning English, so he was glad to practice his English with us, and you know, it was helpful and all that. So it was a nice experience, actually. Very easy, smooth journey. And then when it was close to my EDD, the doctor that was attending to me is a student doctor, and he started talking about risks. Okay, before then he had told us that he advised us that it was advisable for us to opt for an elective cesarean section because of the fibroids. Now, he said that if we waited for labor and I went through natural birth, it's possible that there might be excessive bleeding just because of the fibroids, and if the baby delayed in coming, I would have bled so much, and I would lose a lot of blood. So, and it might lead to having an emergency CS. So he didn't want us to get to that point of having to rush, to have emergency CS. So he told us that it was better that we opted for an elective CS, to pick a date so that we could just go without any rush, and the doctors will have time, to do the surgery. So we went back home, we prayed, our pastors prayed with us, we consulted people who were knowledgeable in that area, and they're like, yeah, that's fine, that we could do it. So we prayed, and we got the release. We were fine with it, we had peace to do it. So we picked a date and we scheduled the day. So when the day was drawing near, every time we visited that doctor, he was always talking about risks. Always talking about risks, about the fibroid. It became evident that he started getting scared. Yeah, scared. That was what I mean. If you're talking about something negative, that means you're scared about it. So I just felt that it was. I think, in my opinion, that he didn't have any experience with a surgery, especially with someone who had fibroid, so I think he was afraid, or I think that was what I think anyway. So he started talking about the risk of doing the surgery with fibroid and all that. He kept on stressing the risks, and we were like, I was the one who is going to go through the surgery. I was not afraid. I was not scared of the surgery. But you, the doctor, you are telling us about risk. It means that you are afraid. And in my opinion, I think it's supposed to be the other way around. The person who will go through the surgery is the one who should be entertaining fear, and then the doctor should be the one calming such person down. But in this case, it's the other way around. We had nothing to fear. We're ready to meet our baby, but the doctor was talking about risks every single time. So it became a point of, a concern for us. And like, okay, when the day came near, I think 1 or 2 days before, the doctor told us that, okay, I was supposed to go to another department to give a blood sample, so they could determine my blood group, and because they will need to have a supply of blood on standby in the theater on that day. So that was what we went to do, but we couldn't do it that day. I couldn't do it that day because I had a little bit of issue on my health insurance. We had to activate something, that day before we could go ahead with it. So we couldn't do it that day. So we had to go to the insurance company to sort that out. So we did that, and after we did that, we just paused and we just decided, we were prompted to ask questions, from the doctor, like, why is he talking about the risk? So we couldn't see that doctor, but my husband called, he put a call through to him. He didn't pick his call, and then decided to send him a message. So he sent him a message. He asked some questions like, have you done this before? Have you experienced a cesarean section with someone who had fibroid? Have you done this before? And another thing, can we speak to another doctor, another experienced doctor? Because usually, he's not going to be the only one in the theater. There will be someone, some other doctor there, probably a more experienced doctor that will be there. So we asked if we could speak with another doctor, an experienced doctor, at least, to allay his fears or our fears and all that. So, but he didn't respond to that message. He didn't pick our calls. Neither did all the doctors we met at the hospital that we were always interacting every time we visited. None of them picked their calls. All of them ghosted. And the weirdest of it all, this same doctor who was my husband's student, that was always helping us, that was very helpful, that we met his family, he also ghosted on us. None of them picked our calls for no reason. I mean, we didn't, up till date, we didn't know the reason. Up till date, we didn't hear from them. All of them, none of them picked their calls. And it was weird, it was strange. I mean, why this at this time? It was a day before the surgery and none of the doctors were answering our calls. So we had to pause and to just think. We were like, okay, what is God telling us concerning this? And then just realized that every help they gave to us was over. God had used them at that point, and I mean that was the point where that help was going to stop. Thankfully, I was done with antenatal. The next thing was going to be the surgery. So we just decided to go. Okay, we had to go to another hospital. This time we went back to this private hospital that I got the positive result, the scan where it all started from. So we went back to that hospital and we got an appointment with the doctor. Fortunately, this doctor speaks English also and is very, very experienced with surgery. When we sat at his office, I mean, he was just gisting with us, he was just telling us, okay, no problem. He was practicing his English and he was saying, no problem, everything is fine. I've done this many times. He showed us pictures of all the babies they had, done, all the babies they had delivered. He was talking about this like it was just a piece of cake. He even asked, okay, are you ready now? Can we go now? I'm like, what? No, I'm not ready. I was he was even talking. He was talking about it as if he was inviting me to go drink tea, and I was like, no, I'm not ready. We're going to come back the following day. Okay, so fine. He said we should come the next day at 8 a.m. So we went back home. I mean, everything was settled. We went back home. We prayed more. We packed our bags, and the next day we found our way to the hospital. My pastor's wife went with us, and to support us. And while we were at the hospital, she told me that the pastor was also around the hospital. He had gone ahead. He was around the hospital. He was praying, and everything was just, we were at peace with the process, everything. So we got to the hospital. We met the doctor, we met the nurses. They were, they took our phones, they documented, they took pictures, they took videos. It was a very cheerful atmosphere, peaceful atmosphere. The surgery didn't take so long, not long at all. After the anesthesia, I felt numb from my waist downwards. I didn't feel anything, and from that point the surgery started, and it just took less than between 5-10 minutes. The baby was out. The baby came out. They brought him to me and I didn't feel anything. I've watched videos and movies where mothers hold their baby for the first time and they cry and they feel so emotional, and I thought I was going to feel the same way, but I didn't feel any of that. I was just grateful that I finally met my baby. My baby is alive. I am alive. Glory to God. That was everything I felt. I didn't feel anything. But while the surgery was going on, I was having this floating feeling. I mean, I felt like I was floating. Like, I can't describe it, but that was how it felt. I felt like shutting my eyes. I was feeling sleepy, but I couldn't shut my eyes. I was afraid to shut my eyes, And I mean, the surgery went successfully. After the baby came out, I mean, it took just about 15 to 20 minutes, and he also took the fibroid out. He showed me the fibroid and everything, and before they took it away, and I was wheeled out of the room. I recovered very fast. The next day, I was out of the hospital. I could walk. I was fine. I left the hospital. I went back home to recover fully. It wasn't until days or weeks after that I started to feel this emotional attachment to my baby. I don't know why that happened. Maybe because it was through surgery, I don't know. But I didn't feel that rush of emotion at first sight. But days after, I started to feel all the warmth, all the love, all the connection with my baby. And I had postpartum depression, just a bit of it. That's the story for another day. But I'm glad and I'm thankful to God. This month, November, was, my son's fourth birthday. He clocked 4 this month, and all I could think of was this journey, how I became a mother, right from when we started trying to conceive and up to the time I had him, even up till today, after I've even had my second baby. I was full of thanks to God for the journey so far, and I'm sharing this today to encourage someone out there. Maybe you have gotten negative results a number of times, whether pregnancy test, whether any kind of results, doesn't have to be pregnancy, any kind of negative results you've gotten. Just trying to encourage you to keep pressing on. Don't give up. As long as you keep praying and God is on your side, the positive result is going to come. The positive result is going to come. I also want to give a shout out to my pastor and his wife, Pastor Daniel Lawal and his wife. They were there with us. They were there for us through this time, all through the journey. They were there for us. So I would like to say a big thank you to them. That's all I would like to share today. Thank you for watching this video up till now, and if this video has blessed you, if you'd like to drop a comment in the comment section, please do so. Feel free to like, to share, and if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel and join this family. I still have a lot to share, even though I'm still trying to get the hang of YouTube, but I have a lot to share. I have a lot of content to give out to you, so please subscribe. And you can also do well to follow me on my Instagram and Facebook pages. Let's interact, let's communicate, let's be friends. All right, so thank you very much once again to all my subscribers, to all my viewers. God bless you, and until I come your way again, thank you very much. Hasta la vista. Mwah.